What's up, everyone? This was Ask Alex number 70, and this was our virtual open house. I always love these, get to chat with all of our deal makers and kind of go over some of their biggest wins and takeaways. Alex, what did you think about the chat today?
Great, man. I like to have that open house format. People come out, they have questions, they have wins to share. And we talked about some investment property loans. We talked about some of the multifamily stuff that we're working on. Overall, man, it was a great open house. I think, a good amount of deal makers showed up, and we always enjoy it. All right, here we go. Doing an open house today and hanging out with Will and all you guys, and be talking shop, talking real estate deals. Can't wait to have a lot more of you on. All right, here we go. Let's put on my man Will. Excuse the mess, you guys. I'm here in my office in Guadalajara, and got some film stuff going on. Got the whiteboard. What's everybody up to? It's been a crazy last week or so since we last saw you guys. What's up? What's up, my man Will? What's going on, buddy? I know you're running around town. Hey, you guys, just so you know, we are really cutting things down to the wire. I mean, Will's been running around looking at our new acquisition in Compton. I've been running around working on this 18-unit deal.
What's up?
What up? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Here you go, man. Get the light in here. There we go. All right. How's Compton deal? Whew. Compton was Compton, baby. I mean, like, that was Compton.
So you guys, this guy calls me up, and then he wanted to switch. When I'm in Mexico, it's easier for us to talk on WhatsApp. And he calls me up, and he's like, he wants to switch it to video. I'm like, why? He's never done that, where he calls me on a voicemail and he wants to switch it to video. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? And he's going like this. Oh my God. So I'm like, what's going on? Fortunately for me, I couldn't smell what he had and what he had cooking.
That was a nice little welcoming. So we got into the door, and anytime I open a property, I always give a knock real quick and say hello, coming in. And of course somebody goes, hello, who is it? And that's our new tenant that was trying to squat in there. And so we had to make sure he knew, like, hey man, we're the new owners. This is the last time you're going to be in here. We're moving in here tomorrow. So don't come back. And so he's out of there now. But always good when you get to the house and you get that kind of welcoming smell and scent of another human that's been in there. So
we gotta get you one of those tasers, that the girls, that way if something happens, like
yeah, the little zapper. I mean, nice.
Little zappers. Okay, something happens, man. Things happen in these vacant properties in rough areas. So what's up, Will? Oh, what do you got going on? What's going on? What's up?
Yeah, so other than that, man, I mean, we were down at the house, me and Amari. We got to kind of check it out at lunchtime. Get in there and get to see this property. So it's one that we just acquired down in Compton. We're excited about it. We'll probably do a deal review about it sometime, down the line, so that everybody can kind of see, those core LA deals that we're looking at and that we're buying. But
yep.
I was definitely excited to get in there and see that one. I hadn't seen it since our initial inspection. So again, it's always good when you can get those kind of things set up there. So that one is a work in progress, and we'll kind of continue to get things going on that one with our rockstar project manager, Mr. Amari Zambrano. Follow him on Instagram if you guys don't yet. But other than that, Alex, I mean, Compton was just kind of the big thing today. What's new? What's kind of going on with you, man?
Well, before we go with the update, make sure you're using the chat feature to put your information, put your Instagram, put your information, so that way you guys can connect.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually share the Facebook group in there as well. I do see a couple of repeat folks in here, but do use this Facebook group as well if you guys want to let us know where you're at in the Facebook group too. We have a little chat, a thread going in there where you're from. That way you can connect with people outside of here as well. But let us know if you're new or if you're returning, where you're at. And in a couple of minutes here, we'll get you guys on screen and talk through whatever kind of is holding you guys back, whatever issues you guys have or successes you guys are having. But in the meantime, yeah, Alex, what's kind of going on with you, man?
So we just got back from the mastermind. Amari and I went to Vegas last week. after the webinar that we did last week with the Arizona brothers, with Chris and Rick Vasquez. So if you guys missed that webinar, make sure you check that out. Them guys are 3 years into the game, already built a 7-figure business in a very competitive market. So we did that last week, and they were gracious enough to do that with us during the mastermind, because it was on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we went on Thursday and Friday and left on Saturday. Well, you left on Saturday. I ended up extending one more day, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But the mastermind here, I got a couple big wins there, just learning information. So we're always looking to connect with other people regarding the money side of what we do as we've begun to grow and we've scaled up our company. This is a very capital intensive business, right? We're buying property, we're rehabbing property. All that takes cash. And so we're always looking to align with people that have some cash sitting on the sidelines. And so we were able to connect with some people there that kind of knew we're on the journey, that have committed to maybe working with us on some deals. So that was cool. Also, we learned a lot about social media, and although I think we have a good read on it, and we've been pretty good at it compared to maybe other investors, other people in the game, we're certainly not experts, but I think we've definitely put a lot of concentrated effort into it because we've seen a huge reward and return on our investment for that time, because it is work. Some people forget how much work it is. You know, I had to connect with these people. I had to meet a bunch of new people. I had to nurture the relationship with all the people that I was there with. And then also manage the business, manage all the things that we got going on, and then also at the same time post it in a cool way, like because we did recently let go of our main social media manager. We just kind of outgrew each other, let's just say that. And so I've had to kind of take the reins back again after letting them go for a little bit of time. And so I was up late working on stuff, but it was really valuable. We learned a lot about social media. Also, we just made a ton of connections with people at different levels. And every time we go to this Future Flipper Mastermind, there always seems to be something new that we learn, or new people that we meet, or kind of a lot of value that we get out of it. I'm sure you had a good time. And also Amari, our Rockstar project manager, got to go with us, and he got to meet a lot of people and see also the community that we're part of and all that. So I think that was super valuable. We got a Vegas deal under contract. Now it's been about 2 months now. It's been a probate deal. And we actually got to drive by the property, which was cool. It happened to be next to a property that Anthony and his partner Andy, which are huge investors out in Southern California, they wholesaled the deal. They were checking it out. They were in Vegas. They also wanted to kind of do some fun stuff. So we connected with them, and then also got to kind of hang out with them, right? We went to Tal Beach, the party. I haven't been to a Vegas pool party in a long time, and Vegas is back. I know you said that, right? Vegas is back, man. I think it was pretty crazy. We got to get one of our good friends, Mike Fitzgerald, also a 7-figure entrepreneur out of North Carolina and Alabama, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was there. We got to hang out with him a little bit there. And we met these cool lenders, JC and George,
I may, a lot of guys that are doing some
all
big
these
deals
like
as
other
well,
guys
yeah.
are just killing it, but more on the lending side of things, which is also something we're always looking for, right? We're always looking for lenders, private money, people that can help us get hard money, people that can help us refinance and keep property, those type of loans. And so we met a bunch of those guys, and they were a fun time. We were out there hanging in Vegas. And then kind of on another note, been having some challenges. We like to share the successes and the struggles, both, right? And one of them is with the Maui house. We're in the middle of refinancing, keeping that property, and we got a really low appraisal, extremely low, like crazy low. It's just unreasonable. Like the appraisers using comps from like different areas, like not even the neighbor just sold that's a direct comp and didn't even use that comp. Just stuff like that. I mean, it's a bit frustrating, but we're fighting through it. We'll still make it happen. But I want you guys to know, as usual, that like this is not all wins. We do take some L's. We do have some challenges. So that's kind of been happening.
And like we always say, right? These are learning experiences, right? So this is our first time doing an appraisal in these price points. This is our first time, getting to these, types of learning moments. So that we do call them learning moments. They're not losses. They're just, things that we're going to learn from and be able to work on better next time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this property in Maui is such a magical, beautiful trophy property. I'm so grateful. can't even believe it sometimes that we own this property, but it has been a dogfight the entire time. Like we've literally owned this thing for almost a year, from having to negotiate with hostile tenants to rehabbing a property in Hawaii was very difficult. That's a big house, like 3,500 square feet, firing multiple GCs on it, having to fly in a crew of people that actually live in the property and rehab it, going over budget, all these things happening. And there's just another challenge in the deal. Fortunately, the market has appreciated and has helped us on the deal. But just another example of like, this thing is gonna be that much sweeter when we finally get to the finish line. That's for sure. And then we've made some significant progress on the 18-unit acquisition in Arizona. Also something that's making me get a couple of gray hairs because the conversations are different, getting the loan, all that good stuff. It's just been much more difficult than I expected. I'm not gonna lie. I thought, oh, I got this, it's cool. And then now it's just like thing after thing that I have not experienced. I gotta lean on people. I have to call and ask for help. And so but we have made progress on that. And it looks like we're set up to close at the end of this month. Still some work, a lot of work to be done. A lot of growth on that, but we're making progress. And then I'm back in Guadalajara. My penthouse is essentially done. I just got to put up a couple of art pieces and some stuff like that. And it's done. It's ready to go whenever you want to visit and eat some amazing tacos and listen to some mariachi, Will.
There you go, man. No mariachis, right?
You're working on your Espanol, correcto?
Sí, yo hablo un poco español. So cool, man. I know we got a lot of deal makers here on the call, and
wait, I'm not done yet. I'm not done.
I was gonna say, I know you got a couple more updates, and then we'll bring some people on here to share the screen with us, right?
Yes, exactly. So one more thing, we just closed on a Compton deal. I think we've talked about it a little bit, guys, but remember, I had this lady's number saved in my phone. She was an agent that we did 2 deals with way back before I met, before I was working with Will, before I had my own company and I was working for other investors. She calls me up and then we end up locking up that deal and closing on it. So that's super cool. That's why you got to keep your number the same. You got to stay in the game for a while, and then you'll, in a sense, be getting some residual income because you'll get deals sent to you down the road. And then couple last things. I decided to hire a executive assistant here in Guadalajara because we have these virtual assistants that are amazing. However, they are virtual. So even if I'm in Guadalajara, they're not like here with me at my penthouse, like helping me get stuff done physically, right? Sometimes you need that physical help. So that way I'm not spending time organizing things and doing errands and things like that. That really just not the best use of my time. And you have to be really efficient when we're at this scale. So I'm super happy about that. And the last thing, most excited about, it was Will's birthday yesterday, guys. Give him a round of applause. Show him some love. Will. It was Will's birthday yesterday. I got him a $1,000 gift. I like to say that, I rewarded him. I didn't know what to get him, so I just give him $1,000, and he's gonna probably take a trip with it or something. Hopefully come down to Guadalajara and hang out with me. So everybody show Will some love.
Much appreciated, man. Another year wiser, another year bolder. So good stuff, man. Well, dude, I think what we'll do now is kind of bring everybody on and give people a chance to kind of be a part of the conversation. So if you don't mind making me the host here, we'll go ahead and get people sharing the screen with us. And
as you guys know, this is open format. This is your chance to ask questions, talk about your wins, share what you've kind of been learning on, some things that you're going through, maybe some challenges, ask for help. We don't have it all figured out, but this is what these are for, you guys. So people ask me questions all the time on Instagram and whatnot. Sometimes I can't get back to them. This is your chance. You're attending this open house where it's an open format. So this is your chance to talk to us, ask questions, talk to the group, see what everybody's up to. We're sharing everything we can, but what are you guys up to, and what can we help you with, or what can we help you celebrate?
Boom, love it. And like you said, it doesn't have to be stuff that you necessarily need help with. It could be stuff that you want to celebrate, wins that you've had. Things like that are always good as well. So I mean, like for me, big win was my birthday, right? Like I'm pretty fired up. Got to celebrate with some close friends. We'll have another birthday with family a little bit later on, closer towards Mother's Day, when I get to go down, see the rest of my family and folks. So those are fun opportunities, right? So that was my big win for the week, was obviously the birthday. But we want to hear from you guys. Like what big wins do you guys have? What things do you guys have that you want to share? Or like Alex said, things that you might need some help with as well. Those are all good things to kind of bring up and get more eyes on it than one, right?
Yeah, I think we take this sometimes from Kiko Capital and their cool webinar. They have weekly need, leads, and good deeds. So if you have any of those, we can talk about that too. Like I said, I gave them credit, so we take that from them too.
Hello, everybody.
What's
Hi,
up,
Alex.
Michelle?
Hi, Wills. I'm actually driving right now. That's why I can't show my camera. But I did have a question. Because okay, so my mom, we have a family office in Linwood, and literally on the same block where our office is at. So we currently rent the office, right? But there's a commercial opportunity, literally like maybe like two like I guess two spots down. And my question is, what insight can you give me in regards to like seller financing? Do you or will know anything about that? Because I know I know when it comes to financing, sometimes you do have to get creative with it. So what kind of insight can you give me? Because we do want to purchase the property. It's currently listed at 540. Um, they're saying, we spoke with the lender saying that if we're eligible for the SBA loan, we can come in with only 10% for the down payment, which would be what, 54,000, right?
Yes.
So what insight can you give me about like how to move forward with this?
Yeah.
Because I am working on raising the capital. Like I actually I have about like 18,000 I can put in. But what's your take on what I'm telling you?
Yeah, so on the seller financing that we've done, or I've been a part of, the number one thing that I found with seller financing, it really needs to kind of make sense, and it's not something like you kind of persuade and convince and to them to do it. It's something that they are kind of open to, and something that it would benefit them as well. And so we usually just like offer that as an option if we find out that, hey, they have the house paid off, they don't really need a lot of cash. They're interested in perhaps getting an income for life or for extended period of time, and they don't really have anything to do with it. They just don't want to manage the property, because then in a sense now you're the owner and they've become the bank. So it is just a form of raising capital. So they could turn some it could turn into a great deal if you get some terms that are favorable. But I would present, I have an email that I've used before that I could send you to do the seller financing, or just kind of present a couple of options, because it's all really negotiable.
Yeah.
The interest rate, the term that they give you, the amount of the down payment. And those are the sense the things that you're negotiating the most, because what you're trying to do is structure something that is a win-win. And if they just want like the highest price, that you can give them a higher price, but maybe you put very little to no money down, or just something like that, right? And then they give you a very low interest rate or no interest rate where you're only paying principal. So there's a book and an email that I could send you offline here. One of them is a book that you could actually send to the seller if they don't understand it, or it can help you understand the process and the benefits from both sides. And it's actually seller financing is a very, very old strategy. It's not anything new. It was the way things were transacted before in the past. So I'd say the first thing, just going with that mindset, like if they're open to it, then you could kind of work on, presenting an offer. But if they're just like completely close to it, then there's not really something you could just say or line or script that you can do to convince it, because you're going to be tied to that, to that seller, kind of, tied to the hip, right, for extended period of time. It really has to make sense for them. Is that helpful? Any further questions? Yeah.
Yes, that is helpful. And what I need to provide my email address now, or just
just shoot me a DM. I'll send you the book. Or what I'll do is I'll post it in the Facebook group. Are you in the Facebook group?
Not yet. But
come on, girl.
Yes, I know. It's because I joined it, but then you had to fill out like 3 questions, and I was on the go. I was like, damn, like let me fill them all later. But I do follow you and Will online. But yeah, that's very helpful, because
I just reposted it again in the chat right now. I'll post the
I
link
say the Facebook group, because then everybody can get,
okay, perfect.
Not just
okay.
you.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Alex, while you're on the subject, will you kind of go into what you usually, would say are the most important things? Like for us, when we're discussing seller financing, typically for an owner, the most important things that we can change are what?
Yeah, so the down payment, the term and the payment, we don't try to focus too much on the rate, because what we're trying to do is focus on a payment that's really all going to principal, and there is no interest rate. That's not easy to negotiate that, because like I mentioned earlier, it's all negotiation. So for example, on the Maui house, we knew the guy just needed to pay off a $400,000 house. We were buying the house for 1.35 million. He needed to pay off a $400,000 mortgage note, and then he wanted 200,000 in cash. That's really all he really needed. And so we offered him, you know, the price of the property was already negotiated, but then what we offered him was that can we do, you know, 3%, 4%. I think it was like 3 different options. We offered 3%, 4%, and 5% rate on a 30-year term, with I think a difference in the down payment, right? If you give me a lower interest rate, I could put more money down, right? And so like all those terms are kind of are negotiable. And so we kind of present. Now they countered. We ended up at 6% on a 20-year note for a 2-year balloon. A balloon, it just means like, hey, I'm only going to finance this for a certain amount of time, and then I want all my money. And so he wanted a 2-year balloon note. So we don't really have to pay off the property for 2 years. It's already been 1 year, so we still have 1 more year, because that way it just gives you a little bit more runway. If you know, so there's multiple terms, but the most important ones are the down payment, the payment that you're going to be paying, and then just I think the term, right? The term.
Yeah, and guys, that's what we usually are you know, focusing on is the lower down payment. So you know, when Alex and I go and get a hard money loan, we're typically in that 80 to 90% range, which means we're bringing 10 to 20% down. You know, so when we're negotiating that with the seller, we're typically going to want to be at a lower rate than that 10 to 20% down. If we're paying, you know, 30% down, then we would probably just do the hard money and cash them out right there. It wouldn't benefit us to bring 30% when we have another option on the table to bring 10 or 20.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, so your whole reason for wanting to do seller finances, it makes sense for them, and that you can get as a buyer better terms than what the, you know, the competing, you know, financing can offer you, hard money, or if you're
same thing for interest. You know, if they counter to you and go, hey Alex, I want 15% interest on it, then you go, well look man, I mean, like, why would I give you 15% when my bank, my hard money lender is charging me 7 or 8%? You know, you have to help me out here and give me a better, you know, better rate than them, right?
Yep.
And you can pull in, you know, national rates and say like national rates are closer to 4%. Like maybe I could meet you halfway in between. And if you can get a 5% loan, you know, seller finance at 5% down, like now all of a sudden you're talking about pretty, you know, favorable terms to yourself, especially if, like Alex said, you can direct those towards principal or interest only, right?
Yeah, and Giselle, so I really need you to, I want you to focus on the reason for the sale. And if it's through an agent, then you need to ask those questions, because that helps you structure an offer that matches their motivation. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah, the listings actually, I mean, it's been on the market for quite a while. I would say maybe like more than 60 days at this point, 90 days even. And it's like an older gentleman. It sounds like he has like a kind of like a, not a huge portfolio, but he does have a portfolio with different commercial properties, and he's looking to sell them. So I guess that's kind of like the main reason, you know, he's an older gentleman. Sounds like he doesn't have any like next of kin to pass on the property to. So that's, but as you said, I do have to circle back with the listing agent, which I do plan to do.
And
right.
that brings up another subject. If you're dealing with seller financing the property and that seller has multiple properties, then that could, you know, maybe you structure a deal that might not be as much of a home run, but potentially he might sell you more of his properties. One of my mentors, I mean, he's really a friend, but I consider him a seller finance mentor in some way. He's done, I think, 80 deals over in Portland. And he said something to me one day that struck me forever. He's like, Alex, what you really want is you want sellers that are gonna sell you, like basically sell you property. I'm trying to think of what he said. Is what, you know, when you really get good is when you take sellers off the market before they even hit the market. Yeah, that's what he said. Meaning like, hey, this person has already sold you their 9plex, and then they've already earmarked, because you've done such a good job working with them, they've already earmarked selling you their other 4plex, right? Because they like working with you so much, they're not even consider selling their property, the other property they have, to anybody else. They're going to sell it to you first, or give you first dibs on it. Like he even gave me an example where the lady called me like, hey, I need a painter for your duplex. It's her duplex. He doesn't even own it yet, but he's basically saying, hey, I need to paint your duplex. You have somebody good that you can refer me. Is that cool or what?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the position you want to be in where you can, pretty much, just negotiate your terms that are working.
Yeah.
That are working for all parties. Okay, yeah, I mean, that was definitely helpful. I will definitely make sure I join the Facebook group today so I can get that information. But thank you so much for that. That was, was pretty helpful. I mean, I don't know much about seller financing, obviously. So that was some great insight.
Read that
Thank
book.
you.
It's a super easy read. I'll send it to you guys. And it's like, I think $12 or something on Amazon. I bought like 15 copies of it and I gave it to everybody in the team. Oh,
So
what's
guys-
up? Lindsay's in the house. I ain't seen her in a while. What's up, girl?
Anybody else got any questions or big wins, big shares they want to go over? Yeah, Oscar, fire away, man.
So this is the first time, actually the first time with you guys also, but the first time doing the rental, right? So we got an offer accepted last week. So this is a triplex, pretty bad shape, and then went through, I thought it was going to be a regular loan, investor loan at 5.75. Ended up the appraisal, called the agent, the seller agent, said, hey, we're going to do a California appraisal. The windows open and close correctly. Like I said, no, they're stuck because it's a 1926 property, wood, pretty damaged. So he said, this deal not going to pass, like through a regular investor. So now I got in the problem now to get to private lending or hard money. And actually that's question one. What is the difference between private lending and or hard money, or if it's the same? Normally I got my primary house with a normal loan, right? This loan, it was going to be an investor loans with a 25% down on the $690,000 stripe, the cost of the units. But now everything changed, right? So it's like, oh my God. And then I got the same lender that was going to give me the loan for the investor, send me some other numbers. They said, oh, it has to be a rehab loan now. Rehab loan is different. So he sent me numbers with like 20% down on the 690 purchase price at 9.5, paying only interest only for the first months. So it's and he told me, Oscar, you're going to make sense because there's no pre-penalty, the penalties. So it makes sense if you're going to just do it in a three months, you're going to refi, and that's it. Get out of that 9.5, right? And then I got another guy that is supposed to send me right now another quote for private lending. So but I haven't seen the numbers yet. So that's one question. Like, is that true? Like, and then I got to Own Up, the website Own Up, and I request lenders to call me. And one guy said, like, no, probably we can push this through to an investor loan. But the thing is, I don't want to risk it, right? So if I go through to save some money on the rates for 5.75, but at the end, probably in 2 weeks, the lender said, you know what, this property needs a major rehab. So that's not we're not going to lend you the money. So then I'm stuck, right? And then probably the deal is going to be dropped, and I'm going to lose my deposit, right?
Yeah,
so what would you think? Let's just go for the safe move, which is the rehab loan at 9.5, or?
Yeah. So let me understand it, because when you say investor loan, I just want to make sure I have this correct. That means you were buying the property. It's a triplex. It's under contract, and you're going to be getting financing. That's going to be an investment property, an investment property. Yeah, I want to kind of clarify that, right? So 25% down. You're buying it kind of as a rental. It is investment property loan. Yeah. And then something came up with was it the appraisal? I think you said
the appraisal called the seller agent and asked for the condition of the windows. In California, it's like if the windows doesn't open, that's considered a hazard, I think, and so you have to have like escape in case of a fire, right? So,
right, and then you're kind of up against the gun here, or do you have a certain amount of time that you have to close on the property then, and you're probably unlikely to get an extension? Is that the case?
Yeah, we got extended. It was going to be the last date of April, and we got extended to May 16 actually. So 15 more days. But now I don't know if should I just push it and risk it with another lender to see if we can push this loan as a normal investor loan, or to a rehab loan. Rehab loan is like private. hard
Right.
money.
So what I would do, Oscar, is if you are going to consider going with another lender with the same type of kind of investment, 25% down, it's a rental property type of loan, I would really put their foot to the fire and say, hey, this is what happened with the other lender. Why can you get it done when they couldn't get it done? Just so that way you're really making them kind of stick to their word, or at least, like I said,
Yeah,
put
be
their foot to the
transparent.
fire. Like, hey, can you really get this done? I can't mess around with this. I have these other, this backup loan in place that I can for sure close on, because that is a little bit more of a hard money type of situation,
Yeah.
in which where like the condition of the property is not allowing you to get the type of loan that you want, but you don't want to lose the deal. And if there's enough meat on the bone, it's a good enough deal, then I wouldn't risk it unless you had a lot of confidence in that plan B on the investment type of 25% down and better loan, because a lot of these lenders have similar guidelines, but if they haven't, they don't feel very, very confident, we're gonna say, no, I can get this deal done because of X, Y, Z, then you're likely better off going with the backup plan, doing the hard money, and then going that route, and then refinancing that loan. It is just a temporary band-aid loan, and then you'll be in and out of that that loan in 3 to 6 months. Who cares if you had to pay a couple thousand, 5,000 more in interest, or whatever that ends up being, $10,000 more. That's not going to really make or break the deal. But you could lose the deal if you go the other route, which that would be worse, right? And then when it comes to the private money, something like that, I think there's a lot of complications to that if you don't already have a database of people with that much cash that can that believe in you to do this deal. That I don't know how likely that is. I don't know your database or your experience enough to say, hey, do you want to throw this out there to some people that that have money? But that's all really a private lender is somebody that usually individuals that have money. Now there is brokers out there that have access to people that have money, higher net worth individuals. But if you don't already have a relationship with a broker like that, or with these individuals that have this much cash that could back you up on this deal, it's probably not a good way to go where you're at on this transaction. I think the hard money is probably a safer bet, as you said, to avoid losing the deal, knowing they can get it done. And it's actually, it looks like it might be a little bit less down payment too, of 5%. And then will they be funding some of the rehab costs for you, or will you be paying the rehab costs out of your own pocket?
No, I'm gonna pay the rehab on my own pocket. What I negotiated was $750 listing price instead of a increase of property. We got an inspection and asked for credits, but we ended up dropping the price to $690. So kind of probably 60 grand less, which it's great for me. I think, pretty bad conditions, but I don't think in a triplex, it's about 16 square feet, two bedroom, one studio. I don't think more than 120. Well, I can be wrong. This is my first time, and that's one of how can I calculate these?
Where's the property at?
It's in Fullerton, California.
Fullerton, okay. You said it's 1,500 square feet, but it's a triplex, so they're small units.
Yeah, they're very small, 615 each of the two bedrooms, small ones. And then in the back, it's a studio.
Yeah, but typically, I go off a door count, like a triplex for, you're looking at a triplex essentially for $220,000 a door, or $230,000 a door, or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Something like that. So that's anytime you're looking in Southern California, in the core areas, somewhere around those numbers seem to be a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I run the comps. I run check Zillow and everything. My wife is a realtor too, so I asked to run the
yeah, brother. I think you're better off going with the hard money. But just if you really want to see what this other lenders about, just tell them, give me examples, or just tell them, ask why they really feel they can get the job done on investment property when the other.
I don't want to lose the deal, so probably hard money.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
Congrats, man. Yeah, let us know how it turns out.
Yep, definitely.
Is that Lindsay? Is it working?
Hear me?
There she is.
Yes. Oh, thank God. Okay. Hi guys. So I actually have two questions. One is for you, Will, and the other one's for Alex. I'm just gonna start off with Will really quick, if you don't mind, Alex. So I just wanted you to update us. How's your house hacking project going? We saw that you got that duplex, maybe a triplex with that ADU in the back.
Yeah, it's a duplex, so it's got a little 1 bedroom, 1 bath in the back, and we're actually probably about 75% of the way to the finish line on that one. We're really, really close. Should have a rough inspection this week for plumbing and electrical and in the kitchen, and then we should be moving forward from there.
What was the financing on that one? Was it
So
seller
it's actually,
finance?
we purchased it through the company, so it's a flip that we're flipping, and instead of flipping it and putting it on the market and listing it, we already have the buyer picked out. The buyer's me, so I'm buying it, and we'll kind of do a cost approach on it, and figure out what it cost us to have the property, and then that'll be what I kind of buy it at.
Awesome. Are you planning, because I think you had a detached garage, right?
Yeah, I'm planning on adding something on there eventually, not right away. I'm gonna plan on living in it for a year or two and enjoying it, and once I move out of it, I'll probably end up adding an additional unit in the back and making it a triplex that just has 3 checks coming every month on the first.
Awesome. Are you planning on managing the property yourself as far as renters?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna Airbnb the back unit right now, and just keep that available as a short-term rental so that when my family comes and visits, they can use it. And if Alex is ever in town, he can use it up until his place gets ready. But just keep the options open on it as opposed to having a long-term tenant in there.
Awesome. What
Yeah.
would you say your experience with the whole budget? What was your I guess budget for rehabbing the property?
Budget was wild, because it's for me, I'm buying it, I'm living in it, so it's been a little bit different than a traditional flip. I wanted to add in insulation in the house. I wanted to add in attic space. I wanted to add in a bigger bathroom. I actually was just looking, and Alex, I think I might add a like a speakeasy style hidden bookcase style door to get into my office. Just because I was looking and I was like, yeah, I can do it. It's a $1,300 interior door. Do I need to do that? Probably not. Alex is rolling over. He's like $1,300. Interior doors are like $80, $90, $110. So do I need to spend $1,300 on that door? I don't know. But if I want to, I can. So it's like, that's the biggest difference is, when it's for you, you can add in a couple of those extra kind of perks.
Definitely. I definitely, even with my duplex, since I'm house hacking as well, I find that I definitely went a little bit more overboard with the budget because I'm living in it. So I feel like my standards are just a little bit higher. There's certain things that you would like in your own home as opposed to if you're just going to sell it. So I definitely feel you on that one, Will. Thank you.
I'm going to be staying there sometimes. Can I chime in on what I want for my design for the
Thank you, Will. I appreciate it. And then Alex, so next question, just kind of break down a little bit for us. As you guys know, I'm interested in multifamily. So how did that apartment complex come about? What was the financing, or are you guys doing a bridge loan, or what did it look like?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. The deal came about because I went to a couple of markets last year after we started to see that, we're making more money with the flipping, and we're not trying to flip forever. We really are doing it so that we could own stuff for the long term as well. So I went to Arizona, Phoenix, I went to San Antonio, and I also went to South Florida. And of those 3 markets, I determined that Phoenix was kind of the best fit. Couple reasons. Number one, I have a lot of friends there that I got to kind of learn from and see the market for myself. The old Californian in me was like, hey man, people are leaving California, let them leave. They can't hang, they can't hack it in Southern California. But once I actually saw those markets, particularly Phoenix, I could see the appeal to it, the vibrant city, very proudly growing, a lot of people making money, a lot of people with disposable income, a lot of direct flights from Maui, from Guadalajara, from LA, which, I do travel often. So it just seemed to be the best fit. And once I determined that was the fit, that was the market that I wanted to invest in, because of all that, those factors, among a couple of others, but those were the main factors. I just basically started telling everybody I'm investing and I'm buying, I want to buy in Phoenix. I started telling all my contacts. I started, being vocal about it in social media. Through that, we got a triplex under contract. We ended up backing out simply because it just needed way too much work. It was kind of a can of worms once we did inspection.
And like Alex, you touched on it a little bit there, but like we were out there, we were hosting multifamily meetups in Arizona. with other investors out there. Like we really were putting it on the map that like, look, we're gonna buy a property out here in Arizona. And like Alex said, like we got a property under contract. We're doing an inspection now on the project. So I mean, like we're networking with people, brokers, like we're putting it out there that we're gonna get these, you know, to get this property here by the year's end. And I think we had set a goal, right? That it was by end of this year, we were gonna get one.
Yeah, exactly. So just being vocal and being out there telling people what you're doing, what you're up to is very important. Whether that's social media or just you're talking to people that you speak to, right? And then so through that, one of the multifamily people in the Future Flipper program, Max, stud, you know, he's been working on multifamily for a lot of times, and he sent us some stuff, didn't really fit, or we weren't kind of ready. And then he calls me up and says, hey, I got this 18 unit. I have 2 other deals under contract. I don't feel like I have the bandwidth to raise capital for all 3. I think this is like kind of the best, you know, thing for me to kind of wholesale this deal. And it just kind of came up as like, and we kind of vetted the deal, went out there, looked at it, looked at the numbers, and it ended up making sense. And so we just decided to move forward with it. And then we've, you know, it's like you said, it's a bridge loan, just 75% loan to cost, kind of similar to like a hard money loan essentially for multifamilies, but it's called a bridge loan, and it's just kind of in place to take the deal down, acquire it, and then once you you know, get that rehab and do the value add, because there is vacant units that does need to be upgraded, all the exterior and whatnot. And so once it's all done, the rehab is done, then we'll be refinancing into you know, better long-term debt, or we're gonna flip it and the transfer that whatever equity we have into another property, a bigger property that we do want to hold. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. So what your strategy here obviously was probably value add and then refinance outright. Are you guys having a property manager that you're vetting in the area, or?
That's also something that we've leaned on our contacts and the people that have multifamily there. So we had like 2 people referred to us, and they're highly vetted because they're managing property for friends and people that we know. And so it's been, you know, we've gone on a couple calls with them, and it looks like we're gonna be going with one of the ones that we were referred to, because like I said, they're, you know, already managing property in the area for people we know. And you know, it seems like they know what they're doing, so we're gonna go with that. And it is also, just guys know, it is kind of most of the time a multifamily is required by the lender that you have some type of property management. It's not like you could buy a 40 unit, say, oh yeah, I'm just gonna manage it myself, and then they'll give you millions of dollars in a loan.
Yeah, they usually want to see some kind of professional service in there, right?
Yeah. So then they're looking at like who's gonna actually, because so much of multifamily is the operations, is like who's gonna be in charge of the asset. And so they want to make sure like this is a company that's reputable, knows what they're doing, local, because a lot of the value add and you know, the property and the risk is based on the maintenance and the property management. Yeah.
Sorry, I just drew a blank. I forgot what I was going to ask you. It was a follow-up question on that one. Oh yeah, did you JV with someone to get that deal down? And yeah.
It wouldn't really consider it a JV. It just we partners on the deal, and so yeah, it just, there's multiple partners. So when it comes to like the multifamily, it's like who's going to be on the loan, who's putting money into the deal, are you syndicating the deal, so certain like that, without getting into the weeds like that. So yeah, we have a partner on the deal that has you know, experience, and so it just helps out with financing and all that. And then you know, we're putting a certain amount of capital, and then we are raising some capital for the deal itself. So we'll need about $1 million to do the deal, and we're going to put a good portion of that ourselves, probably close to half of that, and the rest we're going to raise.
Awesome. And then lastly, sorry guys, what were some of the issues that you mentioned that were kind of a headache with that that you were experiencing, just briefly?
I'd say the main one is just my bandwidth. You know, we have 22 transactions, and that comes with 22 you know, sets of problems or challenges or constant, you know, decisions that need to be made. And so if I was just buying an 18 unit, just like only an 18 unit, and then I had like a full-time job, or I was just kind of like, that was the only deal I was working on, I don't think I would have as many problems with it. But being in a kind of a new process and still managing the rest of the team and the rest of the transactions has been, and still traveling, has been, you know, spread me quite thin. And then also just the, you know, the decisions on like I was mentioning, the property management, and then what loan to go with, and then how much money to put down, or how much to potentially raise. So just a lot more higher level decisions than, oh, hey, how much, if we got to put an extra 5% down on a house, that's likely to be like 20 grand, 30 grand. But another 5% on a $3 million property, I mean, you're talking about 150 grand. You know what I mean? So it's just like they're different numbers. And so that's also kind of been a big kind of challenging to kind of make sure we have all that kind of lined up. And then because also like you have to ask for help. So on the single family stuff, I don't feel like I need as much help at times. And then, but the multifamily, it's a different animal. So I've had to, be out there, be humbled, and, reach out to people that are already in the space, and, kind of like, hey, dude, like, can I, bug you for this? Or, what do you think about this? And it's kind of been a while since I've kind of had to do that. And not that I don't, because I don't know it all, but, being able to, having to lean on these people, which, I don't like bugging people. I like giving a lot more than, I take. But there's times where, hey, you need to take, or you need to ask. And so there's been a lot of that in this transaction.
Yeah, even underwriting so much different than when you're trying to flip a house for a
Yeah,
multifamily.
right.
So
That's a
different.
good point. The numbers. And so I'm good at the numbers in single family, but like underwriting the multifamily, you're looking at so much more granular detail and so many different numbers. And so that is not traditionally my strength, to just sit there in front of spreadsheets and look at, all the scope of work and the CapEx budgets, as they're looking at all the also the potential rents, like being very realistic, like, hey, once we rehab stuff, like, what do we really feel we can rent for it? It's just not as easy just pulling up comps. Like, you have to do that through brokers and the people that know the area. It's not like I've rented in Phoenix myself, so it's like not like how confident. If it was in LA, it'd be different because I know rents, I know areas fairly well compared to Phoenix. But that's also been, part of the reason it's been challenging, so much more underwriting. But I'm reading a book on that, and I'm working on getting better at that.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate your time.
A lot of questions. Look at Lindsay coming in hot. Let's go. What's up, everybody else? Anybody else have any questions?
I have a question. I'm pretty much a beginner. I've done 3 flips, and right now with the way the market is, I've been having a really hard time finding properties within my price range. I have limited amount of cash. I only have about 65K cash liquid. So I've been using a hard money lender. I've been using Anchor Loans. And I just wanted to see if you guys had any suggestions on how to open up my criteria to be able to, maybe find more deals, or maybe, a way of doing joint ventures. I just don't want to like stop the momentum, because my last flip, I sold it in February, and it's taking me like a while to find any good deals. So I'm just I don't want to get desperate either. So
what's the exact question?
Basically, what would you guys say, or what would you suggest it would be a better way to get more influx of wholesale deals coming in? Because I don't go direct to seller. I usually just go through wholesalers. I was just asking like what suggestions you would have.
Okay.
Meetups, man. I mean, like in-person meetups are great. Every in-person meetup I go to, I end up meeting, a couple of new wholesalers. I think that's definitely powerful. Wouldn't you agree, Alex?
Yeah. So you could joint venture with newer wholesalers. It seems like you have more experience, and maybe that someone has less, deals under their belt. And if you do have some capital, I mean, you got the experience, you have the capital. I would imagine you have some, some crews or rehab people that can help with that. And so, joint ventures can be structured so many different ways. It's all negotiable. I mean, as a matter of fact, I just negotiated one today on a Maui deal that we're going to be doing. And it basically was like, this guy's bringing the deal, he's going to bring some money, he's going to manage a project, I'm going to fund the rest of the deal, and then we're going to go 50-50. So it just, there's different ways you can structure it, but as long as it's like a win-win, and everybody, we talk about like roles and goals a lot, which is like, what is your role going to be and what's the goal of the project going to be? So if all that's very clear from the beginning and negotiate up front, all the expectations are clear, then it's going to make sure it's going to be much more likely that you're going to have a successful transaction, compared to like, oh yeah, well, having a little bit be ambiguous, or just you're not sure what he's going to do. You're going to do like, you got to get that super clear up front, because you're going to be tied at the hip on that deal for an extended period of time, right? 3, 4, 5 months. And we do come across a similar challenge there too, Quan, where like we do predominantly flipping. There are times where well, we would like to wholesale more, but we really haven't mastered, and we're not great at the direct to seller model because they're both like, they're different, like networking, wholesalers, MLS, all that, and then direct to seller, they're kind of like different, and it's hard to have both of those systems and machines all the way dialed in. And so we've leaned more on kind of what you're doing, because that's, but then you get to a point where like, hey, you run out of cash. They're like, okay, well, I can't wholesale this deal from this wholesaler. I mean, technically you can, but you gotta, it's better you let them know, hey, I'm gonna cold wholesale this, or I'm gonna, daisy chain it, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I've never wholesaled the property. I've just been, the 3 flips I did were from wholesalers. So that's kind of been like my game plan. I kind of just cold call wholesalers. And like Will mentioned, I've gone to a lot of person meetups and then try to get their information from there. But right now I've just been feeling a little stuck. That's why I wanted to see if you guys had any suggestions.
What about growing out a little bit of a team? I mean, you're a one-man show. Do you have anybody help you out? I mean, you got some money, some experience. Like I would imagine people would want to maybe work with you if you do it out there.
Yeah, so the way I started is that my best friend, he had already like 9 flips under his belt. So he basically showed me how to find deals, and then he did the construction work, or he did the rehab. But now he's onto new construction. I don't kind of have that amount of money yet to do a whole new construction yet. So I've just I have the people to do the rehabs. I've just been having a really hard time finding houses within the price range, the way things have skyrocketed here in Florida.
Yeah. Have you considered, or what are your thoughts about doing stuff that just maybe a little bit outside of where you're currently at, maybe a little further out, a little bit lower prices?
Yeah, I'm very open to it. I'm willing to drive out further. I'm even thinking of changing my strategy, maybe, doing rentals instead of just focusing on flipping. But that's all part of the learning game also.
Yeah. Well, I mean, consider all that, the JV, or if you do get deals, we've kind of gone to different areas ourselves as we've expanded. I wish I could say that all of our deals were like, we were just crushing it just one area, but we've expanded our territory because South Florida is big. It's very competitive. I think it's very similar to California in that aspect of like it's a shark fight, and so you really have to get out there and then sometimes potentially expand the territory in which you're going to cover, because some investors might not want to go out there to other areas, and we found success by doing that. Because if we would have just stuck to like only core Los Angeles, we would not be working on these in some of these deals, and some of these lower purchase prices. They take less cash. So, you could, if you're buying a house at, 100, 150,000, you're likely to be able to do that deal compared to buying a house at 250, 300, with the cash that you have, is what I'm saying. So, but you might just have to, drive out further, or to, explore other areas to look at what those areas offer. And sometimes, a lot of times investors are not willing to go out that area. So if you are, then you could get deals in those other areas and expand. And we really have a mix. We'll have like those $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 houses we buy in core Los Angeles, the 200, 250 houses we buy in Palmdale, Antelope Valley, and then that 200 or so kind of similar prices Antelope Valley put in the desert that could become short-term rentals, Airbnbs or flips because it's appreciating. So but they've all kind of, it hasn't been just kind of like reckless and we just went into another part of the market. It was based on us having deal flow and then analyzing these deals very well and then saying, hey, dude, this matches our buying criteria. It just happens to be in an area farther out. Now, how do we figure out the rehab? Since we're getting a good deal, we just got to figure out the rehab now. Because remember, you make money on real estate when you buy. You buy at a good price. I mean, it almost doesn't matter. That's what I learned from one of my first mentors, the first guy I worked for. Like, he didn't care where it was in Southern California, as long as it was a deep discount. The other people I worked for, they wanted just cosmetic entry-level flips at volume. And so like we kind of have a bit of a hybrid of those two systems where we'll go further out, we'll go different places, but it does have to kind of still fit our, kind of type of houses that we buy. And then we are looking to do some volume, but we're not also looking to flip 100 houses either. So just figure out what that looks like for you. And I think, having a couple of deals and already some money, and things like that, I would challenge you to maybe bring some people onto your team to help you expand that, because maybe you get a spread a little bit thin, and then you have something to offer and to help other people, just like your guy helped you, right?
Definitely, man. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, you got it, dude. Good job. What's up, Edward? What's up, Ulysses? What's up, Cecilia?
I got a question for you guys. Actually, I got a couple things.
If no one else
Yeah.
does.
Oh, go ahead, Ed.
I think it's on Dominic. We'll get to you, Edward.
So
Yeah,
I've been getting a lot of leads from other agents that I've been networking with, and I actually have one agent that's really hustling for me. When it comes to wholesaling and on market or a traditional like RPA, have you found any issues that I should be aware of or any obstacles that I might need to prepare for if I am like going down this route? Because it is one of the options in regards to getting deals.
You mean wholesaling on market?
Yeah, well, off market, but with agents.
So, but I don't understand the question. Repeat it, please.
So it's off market, like it's agent has a listing, but they're pitching it off market beforehand before they put it on the market. But it's not direct to seller, it's agents are involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what to look out for in that type of scenario?
Like when wholesaling something with the like the typical RPA and is it do you just put it with the like through the assignment request line or like how is it
Yeah,
different than regular wholesale?
It should be as simple as having the contract. It is on our paper, but you can add that clause onto there and you should be able to assign that. And then as long as the numbers make sense, I think it's going to be easier to do that than it would be like if it's on market and you got, a live listing on market, although you could still do that as well. But I think you got an advantage because you got your network and now people are starting to send you these off market deals. And if you're not going to take them down, I think you're good at networking. You probably have cash buyers ready to buy that deal. I think you make some pretty good spreads there, Edward. Good for you, dude.
Yeah, definitely. I have 5 that are all out of my area. 2 in Palm Desert, 2 in Yucca, and 1 in Big Bear. The seller wants is kind of delusional to price, but if those areas are too far out of my range. So if those are, I have direct connection with the agent. The agent's out of my office. He's giving me the full insight. So if that's something you guys are interested in, or anyone else on the call wants more details on, please let me know.
Yeah, send those Yucca ones over. We got a couple deals over in Yucca. We'll happily look at those for you, buddy. I think Dominic had a question.
yeah.
All right.
Ed, I want to talk to you about the Big Bear one. I got a couple things. I got a victory. My partner and I, we locked down a property up in Crestline, a 2-2, a couple of weeks ago. We're closing on Monday. Something I learned about this, I actually called for my wife and I. We were trying to get a personal residence, kind of looked at the price point. I listened to this, what the agent had to say. He said it was a roof leak. It's probably not going to qualify for financing. And then I'm like, man, I'm gonna be up there tomorrow. Got up there and was able to get it 30K under ask and just made it into a flip. So I'm thinking we might be able to Airbnb it, just kind of take it how it goes.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. How are you taking it down? What kind of financing?
Yeah, Civic. You guys recommended them. I'm working with Jack. He's been pretty smooth. So 21 days, and it looks like we're closing on time.
Awesome, bro. Good to hear that. Jack's a great dude. He's a great
Thanks.
company for us too.
So my question for you is, me and my partner, our LLC didn't come in time. I guess the Secretary of State is closed. So we're just going to do it in a partnership and just open up like an account just so the financing isn't an issue. I mean, the financing later on with accounting. I was wondering, do you guys have like a partnership agreement that you guys have used before that you can share?
Yeah, we have one. We could send you one. You still have to kind of tailor it to your partner.
Actually in the Facebook group already, man.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, it's in the files link over there. If you hit files, there's a JV, a joint venture agreement right in there.
Hell yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
And I think Alex, it's already edited out where it already has everything set in there where you just put in your company name and all the stuff. And I think it's highlighted so you know where to put it in and where.
Yeah, and we've had many partnerships where we're just like, it really is just you're writing it out like very specifically. Hey, this is what you're doing. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing with the property. This is how we're splitting the profits. And it don't overcomplicate you really don't need to. Just have everything clear, everybody sign. That way everybody's clear on what who's gonna do what and what the numbers look like.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, dude. Congrats.
I got a little small win. I also connected with Jack. So now I'm gonna be looking for my first flip. So now I gotta do the easy part and find a deal.
Awesome, dude. That is a first. That's a win because if you get a deal, then you're not in position to get the loan or the deal done. Then I mean,
Yep.
you could miss out on the deal. So good, man. Congrats.
we'll see how that turns out.
All right, guys. Well, any last questions? Any last wins? We gotta get running. We still got work to do. I'm sure you do too.
Alex, since you go to Guadalajara a lot, right? So I'm from Guadalajara originally. I sent you some DMs.
Oh, great.
Born and raised in Guadalajara, came when I was 15 years ago.
Tapatío in the house.
Tapatío, yeah. So a lot of people there. I know a lot of people. So actually, I was there about 4 months ago. I bought an apartment. They call it luxury apartment, right? So like a 17-story, 19-story. Mine in the 17 with a pool on the top and all the amenities, right? Dog park and all the stuff. So do you think it's I was analyzing the market, right? So versus we can leverage different countries like myself, yourself, investing in Guadalajara. So I was thinking, US, it's American economy is dictated by the real estate, right? Waves go up and down. Mexican economy is it's not like that. So you're not gonna get a lot of up and downs over there. It's small, but it's gonna be always growing. So you think, or based on your experience going down there to Guadalajara, do you recommend investing over there? I already did. I pulled the trigger because it was a 3% down payment for this luxury apartment. It's 2.5 million pesos, which is about $175,000.
Yeah.
The remaining of the first 15%, it's 18 months, no interest. So like free money for me, like boom, and then just browse, sell it, right? And then you can finance, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just started looking into more commercial or also the residential down in Guadalajara. So
good question. I actually get this question a lot because I spent a lot of time in Guadalajara. At the time, my penthouse apartment here is actually a lease, so I didn't buy it. I simply really enjoyed coming down here because of my family, and then having also some virtual assistants that call place home here, and I just enjoy being in the and living kind of like a king for very little. My penthouse apartment's like $2,000 a month. You could barely even get a single like with a bullshit view in LA for 2,000 bucks a month. So that's kind of a big reason. But I have analyzed the market. I'm just not ready to invest in here because of the learning curve and just different nuances that investing in the country comes with. So I'm not the expert. I'm not someone that probably can answer on that. I'd actually like to ask you some questions, being that you did buy down here. Be happy to kind of offline jump on the call with you. I think if any market you can invest, international or national in the United States, can be a good market, but that depends on what type of return you're looking for. Although I am kind of maybe looking at going to the beach this weekend. This place called Sayulita. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. It's a very in demand area. A lot of foreign travelers, a lot of people in surf town. So I'm considering kind of looking at some property over there, but we're really focusing on doubling down on Southern California. And what I'm most interested in Mexico is the workforce, is hiring people that are hungry, that are bilingual, that can help my businesses in the United States. That's what I'm here for more than anything. If I didn't have the workforce down here, I probably wouldn't have got a spot down here. I think it's more of like, I think I can grow that team, that virtual assistant team, virtual team member team, because they're not all assistants. Like you could hire virtual salespeople down here. You could hire virtual, all the types of different positions, virtual marketing, virtual design. So there's different types of people that I feel like in the 4 virtual assistants that we have been a huge return on investment and great people to work with. And so I'm more bullish on that than I am trying to go buy real estate here, flip houses here, or own real estate here at the moment. So that could change down the road because, I'm always open to opportunities, but I don't want it to be a distraction right now. It's just more of a lifestyle thing, trying to expand the virtual team, and then also my family and the culture, and then living really greatly for not much.
Oh, that's great. Love this.
Let's talk offline. Thank you guys for coming on to the open house. Appreciate all the questions. You know how to reach us. We'll see you
guys. This is once a month, right? Like Alex, we do this every once a month, and this is for you guys. So I think these questions and wins were great stuff, right? We'll catch you guys on the flip side. All right.
Let's get it.
Thank you guys.
Bye.